How to get more leads to convert to high paying customers in your home service business. These are my top 3 tips for you. So tip number 1, let's get into it, is stop quoting over the phone or by email. So you really got to talk to the customers directly and get in front of them. I know what you're going to say. Oh, but it's more work. It's too hard. I've got to try. There's lots of traffic. It's just so much easier to quote a price over the phone. And yes, in some instances that does work. But if you can't get in front of the customer, how are they ever going to get to know you or like you? You can't differentiate yourself between you and the competition. All you're doing is attracting price shoppers. And if that person is phoning around 3 or 4 different companies and they're going to ask for a price over the phone, what are they going to do? They're going to choose the cheapest. It's going to be a commoditized service, and they're going to go elsewhere. But if you've got a good quality product, good quality service, you need to get in front of those customers and and give them a better quote. So I'm going to give you a little phone script which is ideal for that. So when they ring up and then they give you a call and they want a price on the phone, say something along the lines of, "Hey, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I understand that. However, every job is different. I really need to see the job before I can give you the price. I'm available tomorrow morning. I could pop round then. Would that work for you?" And then just be quiet. You've given them the reason why you need to see the job, and when the reason for not quoting over the phone, and then it's going to say, "Yes, that's perfect," or "Can you come after work," or whatever. So tip number 1 is stop quoting over the phone, because all you're doing is attracting price shoppers. Your real goal of the phone call is to get into the house, get to see the person. Makes total sense, right? And that leads on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is really to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. The customer is never going to buy from you if they don't like you. Makes total sense. So it's all a part of why you've got to get into the house or go to see the customer to do the quote or the estimate, is to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. Make friends with your customer or your potential customer. Life is busy, and for you and your competition, but most of your competition are still quoting over the phone, and you actually go around and you see the customer, you can spend 5 minutes or so to just to get to know them. You can start up a conversation. I always say the first 5 minutes are the most important 5 minutes of any quote. You don't even talk about your job or the cool stuff that you sell or what you're going to do. Just go around there, you strike up a conversation. You can talk about anything. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about the house or the garden. How long have you been here? If there's a view or an outlook, "Hey, I love your view." All of those kinds of things. And even better, if the customer says, "Oh, would you like a cup of coffee?" So, "Oh yeah, I'd love a cup of coffee. Do you do home baking too?" You can make a bit of a joke about it. Excuse me. But take the time to get to know them, even if it's just a little bit. Get to them, and then they'll get to know them, and then they'll get to like you, and they're more likely to pick you over the competition when it comes time to make a buying decision. Makes total sense, right? Okay, of course it does. So tip number 1 was stop quoting over the phone. Tip number 2 is to make friends with the people when you're there. So tip number 3, and I do see this quite a lot, and I've been done this in my time, because you've got a great product, you've got a great services, so you run around there and you see the customer and you want to tell them all about the cool stuff that you sell and all about how great it is, and how wonderful these XYZ products are and services, and this is how much it's going to cost. You just need to stop a minute and so just stop and think. Don't try to sell them all your cool stuff just yet. Think about their problem. What you've got to do, you've got to ask them questions. You've got to diagnose the problem and then sell them that exact solution. Just like a doctor, you don't go around to the doctor and he goes, "Oh, have these pills." He's got to actually ask you some questions to find out what the problem is, and then he can diagnose the problem and give you the correct medication for it. Makes total sense. It's exactly the same for your home service business. Ask questions and discover what they actually want, and then sell them the exact solution. So I've got a great acronym for this. It's called TED questions, or TEDS questions. And what that stands for, it's T stands for tell, E stands for explain, D stands for describe, and S is for show. So TEDS questions. So, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, can you tell me exactly what the problem is?" See what I did there? Can you tell me? It's an open-ended question, gets them to open up and tell you exactly what the problem is. So now you know what the exact issue is, you can sell them that solution. So T is for TED, E is for explain, D is for describe, and S is for show. So can you show me the problem? Can you explain to me exactly what you want me to do? And then when they do tell you, you can paraphrase that back to them. So they tell you, let's say it's a shower, for example, leaking shower. And so can you explain what you want me to do? Oh, I want you to stop it leaking. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you want me to stop it leaking, and my solution could be X, Y, Z, and you can go into that later. So that's tip number 3. Discover what they want, set and find out what their solution is, their ideal solution is, then sell that to them. Stop trying to sell your cool stuff before you know what the problem is. Too many home service businesses make that mistake. Okay, so that's my top 3 tips. Stop quoting over the phone. Get to the customer's house, get them to know you, like you, and trust you. Ask questions, diagnose the problem, and sell them the exact solution. If you like this kind of content, I have a free 5-part mini course, which is at homeserviceblueprint.com. Go ahead and check that out. I'll pop a link in the description below so you can see that. It's a 5-part mini course, goes into a deep dive into how you can generate more leads, convert those leads into high-paying customers, and make more money in your home service business. So go check it out at the Home Service Blueprint, and I'll see you in another video.